This is Truth TV World News. I'm Douglas Bickford. And who do I have online?
Donna Bickford.
And where do you live at, Miss Donna Bickford?
In Connecticut.
I live in Spokane, Washington. You can contact me or Donna at 503-935-2475. First thing I'm going to say is join our movement, because we're being lied to on a daily basis by the mainstream media, alternate media. We're being lied to by everybody. Anyway, here's the story that's a lie, and there's millions of videos all over the internet. It's all over the mainstream media, CBS, ABC, Fox, Bill O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, all the politicians talking about it, because the U.S. government has created another terrorist. And if you read my front page, you'll know what I'm talking about, because this is how they control us, through lies. 25 December 2009. Here's what they did. Passengers helped foil attack on Detroit-bound plane. An attempted terrorist attack on Christmas Day flight began with a pop and a puff of smoke, sending passengers scrambling to subdue a Nigerian man who claimed to be acting on orders from Al-Qaeda to blow up the airliner, officials and travelers said. The commotion began as Northwest Airlines Flight 253, carrying 278 passengers and 11 crew members from Amsterdam, prepared to land in Detroit just before noon on Friday. Travelers said they smelled smoke, saw a glow, and heard what sounded like firecrackers. At least one person climbed over others and jumped onto the man, who officials say was trying to ignite an explosive device. Now, I'm going to say this is short, sweet, and to the point. This is a lie. I don't know how they do these things. I don't know how the guy would have even got on the plane carrying explosive devices like firecrackers, when you can't even carry a thing of jam onto a plane without the TSA taking it. Now, here's the other thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to give it to Donna, and then she can talk about it. I say it's all bold-faced lies, whether the guy's CIA that did this or whatever. I know it's just a bold-faced lie, and it's to make us fear terrorists and terrorism that don't exist. Here's the one thing I'm going to say. The only thing I'm going to say. Here's what it says. The White House said. Okay, since when is there anybody in the White House on Christmas Day? And the White House said, number one, the White House can't talk, right? So why would they put the White House said it believed it was an attempted act of terrorism? Who'd that come from? The butler or the maid or the receptionist that works there on holidays? Who said that it was an attempted act of terrorism? There you go, Donna. It's all yours.
Well, it was probably the secretary that answers the phone, like when I called last year about the bomb in Gaza.
Yeah, so a secretary...
The Obamas are vacationing in Hawaii right now, but they're monitoring the situation closely.
Yes.
This is all I want to say about this. This is the biggest joke you can imagine. First of all, if he really was just lighting firecrackers, we don't need to crack down on security any more than we already have. The TSA is the biggest bureaucracy we have going since 9/11. It's a freaking joke. And if you fly, you know what I'm talking about. So they're using it as an excuse to crack down on us even more. The second thing is they're linking this guy to Richard Reed. Okay, this just happened. Right? It just happened. How did they know the guy is linked to Richard Reed? Okay? They just got him off the plane. They don't know anything about him. They're saying he had papers linking him to Al-Qaeda. I mean, they make this stuff up. It's so blatant. You know, I just can't even stand to talk about it. It's so in your face blatant how they do this stuff. But they're going to use it against us. They're going to use it to make things harder, to survey us even more and frisk us even more and make it more difficult to get around the country. and use your civil rights. That's what they're going to use it for. Oh, and let's not forget we're fighting the war on terror. Supposedly this guy yelled something about Afghanistan now. I'm just reading this on the Telegraph. So they're bringing that into it.
What about the paper that you said that he had linking him to Al-Qaeda?
Yeah. If you were a real terrorist flying on an airplane, would you have proof on you that you were linked to? Give me a break.
I know.
You know?
This is all mind meld.
Everybody believes it. Just like the passports, the magical passports that appeared when the tower fell. Just like the suitcases that were left behind with the Korans in them and everything. It's all just magical, isn't it? No.
So here we have another CIA operation or whatever. I don't know how these people do this. But the media is all part of it because they're the ones that blast it for the world to see. And I have said it, and I'm going to say it again. Turn your TVs off, folks. They're lying to us. They're lying to us about everything. You can't turn the television on and not read or watch some sort of lie. It's the same thing with a newspaper. Because this is going to be on the front page news of every newspaper all over the planet. All over the United States, small towns are going to have it. You know what I mean? It's going to be everywhere. And the radio talk show hosts are going to all be talking about this thing. They're going to be furthering their agenda, which is to put us in fear.
When you look at the size of the hole at the Pentagon, it was approximately 65 feet across, and the height of the Pentagon is approximately 73 feet. From wingtip to wingtip, a 757 is 124 feet 10 inches. From nose to tail, a 757 is 155 feet and 3 inches in length, and the height is 44 feet and 6 inches. However, when you look at the hole at the Pentagon, you'll find that it's only approximately 65 feet across. How does a plane of those dimensions fit into a hole only 65 feet across? Upon further inspection, we found that the damage at the Pentagon was completely and totally inconsistent with the damage of the planes that had hit the World Trade Center. I mean, after all, the planes that hit the Trade Center created a fire so intense that it fatigued the steel and collapsed the buildings, or so that's what we were told. And yet, when you look at the left side of the Pentagon, you'll note that there is very little, if any, smoke damage or heat damage at all. On the third floor, it's very plain to see a file cabinet with a computer monitor. Neither of them are damaged. On the second floor, you can see a wooden desk. It hasn't burned. And on the first floor, a very curious sight indeed, a wooden stool with a book that is laying and open. The pages aren't even singed. Now, each of the planes involved in the September 11th attacks had embarked upon transcontinental flights, which means that they had a majority of their fuel left over when they hit their respective targets. That means that approximately 8,600 remaining gallons of fuel would have been ignited on the 757 that had hit the Pentagon. Again, we look at the photograph and ask ourselves, is the smoke and heat damage consistent with that amount of fuel being ignited?
News of the flight reached the president shortly after 9 a.m. in Hawaii, where he's spending his Christmas vacation. NBC's Chuck Todd is there with more on how the White House is responding tonight. Chuck, good evening to you.
Good evening, Carl. Well, as you noted, the president did receive word about this incident about 9:30 this morning, Hawaii time. He's been doing a couple of secure conference calls with his chief counterterrorism advisor, John Brennan, who is back in Washington, and his highest-ranking national security advisor official here, Dennis McDonough, who's chief of staff of the National Security Council. He's received 2 updates so far. He's going to get a third one before the day is ordered, sort of real-time information as they've been getting information during the interrogation process of the suspect, who of course is now detained, Carl.
Chuck, we know this is the president's and his family's first full vacation weekend. Is the fact that this is such on the front burner a sign how seriously they're taking this?
terrorists in the White House speech?
Well, it is. It is a skeleton staff that is here, as you know, but they've been behind closed doors all day today, taking this very seriously. This isn't just simply one of those situations where you hear, oh, the White House is monitoring the situation. It is more than that. The president did order that initial increase in airline security measures, which will take effect almost immediately and definitely in the next week, as things, as of course, which is going to be a very high-level travel situation. But again, he's getting these updates, and we're suspecting that it's going to be suddenly much more of a working weekend for the president rather than a relaxed weekend.
I was going to say, Chuck, no indications at this point that this is not going to be at the top of the president's agenda, at least for the foreseeable future going into the next few days?
Absolutely. Again, they believe, because of these reports about a potential connection to Al-Qaeda and that this is a terrorism